guys, my name is Megan and today I have my January wrap up for you. So this might look a little insane. So January was probably a little insane reading wise, as you can probably see. I read through, let's see, probably by the time January's done, 12 books. So since I read so many books this month, I'm not going to go into great details about everyone. I'm going to include a couple books that I read at the end of last year, so the end of 2017. So between the day after Christmas and New Year's Eve, I read the first 3 books in the Song of the Lioness Quartet. So I started the 4th one New Year's Eve and finished it like 2 days later. So I am including all 4 of them because I read them all in such quick succession. So the Song of the Lioness Quartet is set in the land of Tortall. So these are the Tortallan saga books. These are pretty much the beginning of the entire saga. So basically these books are about a girl named Alana, and her father was going to ship her off to a convent to learn how to be a lady, and her brother off to become a knight, and neither of them wanted to do what their father wanted them to do. So Alana came up with this grand idea to switch places, and basically Alana hides as a boy and takes a full knight's training, goes all the way through and becomes the best knight ever, and her brother becomes a sorcerer and one of the most powerful in the entire world. And basically this is Alana's journey through pagedom, through becoming a knight, and the first 2 or 3 years after becoming a knight, with all the fallout of people finding out she's a girl. And there's so many adventures and there's so much magic. And if you want to find out my full review, check out the link above. I've got a full series review for this one. Alana, the first adventure, I gave a full 5 stars and I loved this one. So In the Hand of the Goddess, the second book in the Song of the Lioness Quartet, I gave a 4 out of 5 stars. So the third book, The Woman Who Rides Like a Man, this one I gave a 4 out of 5 stars. I will say this is my least favorite book out of this quartet. The Lioness Rampant, the 4th book in the Song of the Lioness Quartet, I gave a solid 5 out of 5 stars. This is by far my favorite book out of the entire series. I just love these books so much. So the second book that I read this year is Shadow Silence. So this is the second book in the Whisper Hollow series. It took me a second to remember. This one was a really interesting book. I really did like it. It's very different from Yasmin Gilnorn's previous works. This one was a lot more about the interpersonal relationships rather than the relationship of the main characters, which was really interesting, and I kind of liked that. It was very different from her other work. And this one I gave a 4 out of 5 stars. And the next book that I read this month was The Lost Hero, the first book in the Heroes of Olympus series. I loved this book, and I love that this book had new characters. And I mean, I love our old characters, but it was really nice to see some new characters and find out what Camp Half-Blood's like from somebody else's point of view, from another cabin, or just having new characters with a different focus than Percy did. It's very interesting, and I love Jason Grace. He's just so, like, mom friend, or people call him the dad friend. Like, yes, oh my god, yes. He is so, like, perfect as that role, and I love Piper. She's amazing. And Leo is just, how could I ever not love Leo? He's just amazing. So this one got a 4.5 out of 5 stars. And I will have a review posted for this at some point. I do have one filmed. Haven't edited it yet, but keep an eye out. I will link it when I have it done. But this was just so good. I loved it. And I love that this series is continuing, and there's so many new things being added to this universe, and I can't wait to get my hands on the next one. So the next book that I read this month was Wind Witch. This is the second book in the Witchland Chronicles, or the Witchland series. I freaking loved this book. I devoured it in a couple of days. It's amazing. So this one, the predominant main character in this one is Prince Merrick, and I love his perspective so much, and I love him as a character, and I loved how this book just switches back and forth between different characters, and you get to see what each of them is doing in different parts of the world at the same time, and it's just such an all-encompassing picture that you get for the adventures that these characters are being put through. And I can't wait to get my hands on the Sight Witch novel, which is kind of a prequel-esque kind of book for this. This one got a solid 5 out of 5 stars for me, and I really cannot wait to get my hands on the next one. But definitely, these books are so amazing and so different from everything else that I've read that are like centered around witches, and it's very interesting how the power system plays out in this. It's just, definitely give this one a read if you haven't read them before. The next book that I read this month was a shock to me. I loved it so much, and I didn't think I was going to. I mean, I had some deep reservations about it, and it shocked me so much, and I loved it. I mean, I loved every second of it, and that would be Foolish Heart. So this was the December Owl Crate Pick of the Month. This one has an exclusive cover. This is a contemporary novel. It's basically following the story of this girl who gets on the bad side of this couple that she overhears breaking up, and basically that's over the summer, and when school starts, this girl gets partnered with the mean girl from the couple that nobody at their school likes, and basically they get thrown together for an assignment and they do horrible on it, and their teacher makes them audition for the school play, and through that experience they become friends and figure out, you know, they're not that different from each other. And I kind of liked that the love interest in this wasn't such a predominant feature, but it was there, and it was so sweet, so geeky and innocent, but it was just so cute and lovable, and I love that the author brought in so much geek and fandom culture in this. It was just really, really amazing. This one got a solid 5 out of 5 stars, and I highly, highly recommend this book if you haven't read it yet. And I do have a full review coming for this. So the last 4 books are also part of the Tortallon saga. So these are the books in the Immortals series. I finished the first 2. I've got about 10 or 15 pages left of the 3rd one. And the 4th one I will have done. I will have this one done before the end of the month. So I'm including it in here just because end of the month stuff, so this one will definitely be done by the end of the month. But so these ones I will have a full review of the series eventually. So the Immortal series is about a girl named Dane, and she has wild magic that she doesn't really know how to use, and she doesn't really know that she has it in the first book. She basically, her entire home is destroyed, and her village hunts her down to kill her for some wild magic related shenanigans that happen. Basically, she finds work with a lady who works for the Queen's Riders in Tortall and hires on as her assistant, and basically makes her way to Tortall, and all sorts of shenanigans ensue. I love this series so much. Don't want to get into too much because I don't want to spoil it here, but I will have a review eventually. So book 1, Wild Magic. This one I gave a 4 out of 5 stars. The second book, Wolfspeaker, I gave a 4 out of 5 stars as well. And since I'm almost done with Emperor Mage book 3, this one I'm leaning towards a 5-star because this is one of my favorite books in this series. So book 4. This one I've not quite gotten to yet. This one will definitely be read by the end of the month though. But book 3 I'm leaning towards a 4.5 or 5 stars. We will see how that goes. So this is everything that I read this month. Let me know what you guys read this month. I know my reading pile is a little insane, but you know, whatever makes you happy, right? And if you haven't already, go ahead and hit the subscribe button down below. You can also hit the notification button to get notifications when I post a new video. And so if you guys would like to follow me on social media and see what I'm reading currently and when I post book reviews, go ahead and check the links out down below. That's all I've got for you guys today. Bye! Lady who works for the Queen's... What the hell? Rude.